Hi, everybody. It's Ginger Bowler here. I can see some of you all on the screen. You're all muted right now. And at the end of the seminar, we're going to unmute you so that you will be able to ask any questions. Okay, so first thing I want to say is there's a whole lot of you all that registered that I haven't seen in a long time, or so I just want to say hello to you all. I recognize so many of the names from the past, and I know some of you all are also watching in groups, and I may not know you all that have joined a group, so I just want to say hello to everybody and thank you. If you didn't register with your own email and you would give us your email address, we'll be able to then contact you about future programs that we're having. Before I forget to say this, on our website, we have quite a few webinars already posted. And there is one on the overview of Hanna Kroeger's work. There's also, a couple on light therapy. So you can go to our website and, check it out. I'm seeing, hold on just a second. All right. This is the fast thing about your presenter. Most of you all know this, that I wrote, I've chased healers around the planet my entire adult life. And this book that I wrote years ago is called Listening and Communicating with Energy. Understanding Energy is my gig. And this book is about me chasing healers around the planet, but especially my beloved teacher, and for a lot of you, your beloved teacher, Hanna Kroeger. And so this is, in the book, there's 2 pages that are my energy model. And in the Understanding Energy model in the book, outside of all the stories that I tell about Hanna and other healers, the energy model is something that I have taught across the world and, in many different countries and continue to teach. And so that is one of the current webinars. Here's the, pay no attention to the man behind the screen here. We have these nice banners put up mostly so he can have privacy behind the screen. That's Luke, and a lot of you all have interfaced with Luke. Okay, so I wanted to give you a little bit of background of why I fell in love with Hulda Clark's work and why I have such a strong opinion of the 4 cleanses we're about to do. So what happened was way back in 1992, my partner and I had opened Southern Herb Company in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, so that we would be the distributors of Hanna Kroeger's products on the eastern side of the United States. Because once I met Hanna in 1987, and she subsequently healed, quote unquote, my niece, who was dying of a dread disease, had tumor-like cysts all over her body. And Hanna took one look at her and was able to tell her 2 little homeopathic remedies, which started shrinking the tumors right away. And now Christy is a beautiful adult, healthy adult, 35 years old, living in New York. And so that was in 1987. And I started from that day studying Hanna Kroeger's work, following her around the planet. And subsequently, we opened a wholesale distribution business of her products so that we could get the products faster to our people on that side of the US. Now, I'm talking to you all from Colorado right now, and my family and I moved to Colorado because of Hanna's work. And so Kroger Herb Company is up here in this area, just right down the road from us. But in those days, to get the product all the way to Fort Walton Beach, it would take about 6 or 7 days. And so that's why we opened our distribution center. And then in 1996, we opened an additional location in Madison, Wisconsin, which is basically straight north and a little bit over to the west side of the United States. And that gave us more coverage. Then, unfortunately, in 1998, Hanna died, and I was scheduled to teach with her all summer. And instead of teaching with her, I actually literally took over her teaching schedule and continued that for a couple of years. But see, we then had a problem because I was now commuting between the 3 locations: Fort Walton Beach, Florida, Madison, Wisconsin, and Boulder, Colorado. And also at the end of 1998, my beautiful daughter Grace was born, and so that added yet another factor. So we continued. We ended up closing 1 location, keeping it all in Madison, Wisconsin. I was teaching the Hanna programs. We had 600 students that summer coming to the courses with no warning that Hanna was going to die, and so it was very, very busy. Plus, I had a little baby coming at that time, and a lot of things were happening. So at some point, I decided that I was also in graduate school. So I signed up and started going to graduate school in energy medicine in Missouri. And the program's Holos University, and that was Dr. Norman Shealy and Carolyn Mace. A lot of you all know them. That was their program. So I was in graduate school, and so what happened was there were so many balls in the air that I just had, something had to go. And so we sold Southern Herb Company back in 2002 after having owned it for a decade. And then we moved to Missouri so I could finish graduate school without the commute. The way that graduate program worked, and it took me 4 years to finish it, was that you would have to go in the beginning of the semester for the first week, and then everything else was done online. Since that was quite a while ago, it wasn't as normal to do stuff online as it is now. Then in 2006, my family and I moved to Boulder, Colorado, right to Hanna's retreat, and opened the Quantum Academies for biofeedback certification. And then we ended up having our light therapy certification there. I've continued to teach Hanna's work and my passion for understanding energy with a program called Energy Field Fitness. Then in just this past October, we actually moved from Peaceful Meadow Retreat, and now we're coming to you from Erie, which is just right down the street from, it's about 20 minutes or 20 or 30 minutes to Peaceful Meadow Retreat from here, and I'm looking forward to no moves in the near future. Okay. Okay, so when we opened Southern Herb Company, all of it, and we were in Fort Walton Beach, all of a sudden our phones started ringing off the hook asking for wormwood combination, which that wasn't that unusual because that's a very popular product of Hanna's, and it's in a little bottle that looks like this. This is not it, but it looks just like this. And we went from selling about 50 bottles of wormwood a month to selling a couple thousand bottles. But they were also asking for black walnut hull tincture and freshly ground cloves. And I got tired of saying, no, we don't have those. No, we don't have those. No, we don't. And finally, it just dawned on me that we should get them. And so, but the reason we were being asked for those products is because Dr. Hulda Clark wrote the book that you see on the screen right now. It's called The Cure for All Cancers. Now, since I just moved, I couldn't find my original book, but the first edition book of Cure for All Cancers. So I do have my Cure for All Diseases, which we're going to talk about next. But in that book, she literally had a picture of Hanna's wormwood, the bottle of Hanna's wormwood, with a little pile of cloves, freshly ground cloves next to it. Let's see if I have this on the screen here, just a second. Nope, sorry. I'm going in the wrong direction. But anyway, she had the bottle of wormwood, and then she had freshly ground cloves, and then she had some black walnut. And she said, the caption under the bottom said that this was the cure for cancer. Well, that was quite a bold statement. And this is why our phone was ringing off the hook. And, but the thing is that was nice for us as a business to be selling thousands of bottles now. It was great for business, but the more inspiring thing was how many of these customers were telling us their own stories of being healed from cancer and other chronic diseases and conditions. And so after you've heard 100 of those stories, you really know that this is something real here. And so we started learning her work and picking up more products. If you don't have one of these books in your library, you're definitely going to want one. I was able to unpack my Cure for All Diseases, and it is so used that the pages are falling out of it. Now, I want to say that everybody should have one of these in their library. And I went to order some, so I would have some to sell to you all for anybody that wanted them. But when I went online, I saw that you could get them from Amazon or eBay used for $5 or $6, and I'd have to sell this to you for $20 or $25. So, you know, you can buy it used, or you can buy it new from Barnes and Nobles or Amazon or any of the bookstores. But this one, the Cure for All Diseases, is just an absolute must, because it's an amazing reference book. So I encourage you to have that in your library. Okay, so Hulda Clark and Hanna Kroeger are two different people. And there's been a lot of confusion of that over the years because their names are kind of similar, and but they're not the same people. They're two different ones, but what they had in common, obviously, is their love for humanity and a passion for helping people with natural methods. And the fact was that they were both brilliant geniuses and both naturopathic physicians also. Hanna never used her ND designation here in the States because it just didn't mean anything that much. Now it's recognized, but when she was in Germany, she was even able to operate with a naturopathic degree. When she came to the United States, it didn't mean the same thing. So she didn't use it. So we're not used to calling her Dr. Kroeger, whereas we're used to calling Dr. Clark, Dr. Clark. But they both had the same designation. Here they are, Hulda Clark and Hanna Kroeger. As a matter of fact, this picture of Hanna was taken in Madison, Wisconsin, and this was the last season of her life. She had taken a season off, and then she had called me to say, honey, pick 4 more locations so I can go teach. I'm ready to teach again. And this was one of the very last seminars that she ever taught. But that's Hulda on the left, and Hulda has also passed. So these were the 3 items that were originally in the book that we saw: the freshly ground cloves in the center, the wormwood combination to your left, and to the right, those are black walnuts. They look like green walnuts, but they're the properties of the green hull of the black walnut is where the most medicinal properties are coming from. And so what Dr. Clark did was she was able to take Hanna's product, wormwood combination, which has cloves in it and black walnut in it, along with a couple of other herbs. She was able to determine with her research that if you used more of the freshly ground cloves and encapsulated them right after the cloves were ground, that it really helped the parasite cleansing. It was much more effective to add more. And that if you tinctured the black walnut while the hull of the black walnut was still green, that the medicinal purposes were way beyond if you were just using it, if you were just using it as they would typically tincture it. Now, in many parts of the country, black walnuts, you'll have these falling on the ground. They look like tennis balls all over in the fall. And so if you're in that part of the country, and for a lot of people, they're a nuisance because it's when they hit the ground, it will stain. If you gather up these, rinse them, and put them in your freezer, that will preserve the medicinal properties until you can pull out your book here, look it up, and Hulda tells you exactly how to create the tinctures. Pretty awesome. Also, many times people have needed cloves for, say, dental pain or something else, but they don't have a clove essential oil, or they don't have capsules of cloves. You can actually take the cloves right out of your kitchen cabinet, smush them up, put them in a carrier oil, any kind of oil, and pack that tooth with it. And usually it'll take out the dental pain and the infection along with it, which the infection is what's causing the pain, that inflammation. So I started paying attention to, Hulda Clark's work because of my phone ringing off the hook. And just like anything else, I'm still doing it, folks. I'm still chasing healers around the planet. I'm always, always listening to the next teacher and studying, getting everything I can from those teachers. And right now, for the last, since last August, I have really been studying the evangelical Christians that are the ministers that are having these extraordinary healings. And so I've gone to see the Bible healing, oozing oil, and a lot of these other ministers who are having amazing results. So it's fun for me, and I'm getting from them. This is what Hanna taught me to do and taught the rest of us to do, is study till the day you die, which is what she was doing. So I'm always listening, I'm always studying, I'm always reading. And right now, the last 3 days, I've been listening to this woman on TED Talk that she wouldn't consider herself a healer, I don't think, but her first name starts with is Mel something. I don't even know what it is, Mel. But she has one of the top TED Talks ever, and she's dealing with the mind and ways that you can diffuse the thoughts that we have in our head that keep us from having what we want in life. I will get you the name right now, just can't remember her. But her TED Talk was called, I can't remember. I can't remember. Would you look up in my YouTube and just see if, we'll find it for you, because you definitely want to listen to this woman. I don't know why I cannot remember her last name. Okay, that's just a different topic. Okay. This is why I have a PowerPoint. So those of you all who have been in my live classes, Ginger likes to chase rabbits. And that's what Dr. Fuller used to call it. That was the minister who ordained a lot of us. And we went through his program, but he would call it chasing rabbits. So I'm going to try to stay on the path by following the PowerPoint. As a review, the routes of detoxification in the body starts with kidneys. And this is why Hulda Clark can start her cleanses, #1 cleanse as the kidney cleanse. We have to protect the kidneys. Now the kidneys are here, mid-back, they're renal glands, and on top of those kidneys sit the adrenals, the adrenal glands. That adds on to those renal glands. Those little cap-like glands on the top of the kidneys are the battery of the body. So Hanna said, whatever affected the kidneys also affected the adrenals. If you have the most expensive car in the world and the battery is dead, it's worthless. It doesn't take you anywhere. It won't go. And that's how the body is. So we have to make sure that our adrenals, that we have energy in our body. And also we have to make sure we have functioning kidneys, because the kidneys are the main filter of the body. And so that's why we start with the kidneys. If the kidneys are supported and working properly, then the liver, it helps to cleanse also the liver, the next organ of detoxification. Hanna separated out the kidneys, saying that the left kidney was more responsible for bacterial infections, whereas the right kidney more responsible for those heavy metals. Whether you agree with that or not, that's nobody else has ever said that, but we find that that is seems to be quite true when somebody comes in like this, says my back's hurting, and that's at the right kidney area, we'll be looking for metal, heavy metal. As the issue in taking one of Hanna's products like Metal-X. If they come in like, oh, my back's hurting this way, and that's the left kidney, that's more in charge of the bacterial infection. And so for that, a broad spectrum in Hanna's line would be black radish and parsley. So I am chasing a little bit of a rabbit here. So this one's black radish, this is Metal-X. For some of you all, as we get into Hulda Clark's kidney cleanse, you may not think you need the whole 9-piece cleanse. You may say, I think this is enough, or it's just my left side, so the black radish and parsley, or it's just my right side, so it's the Metal-X. In Hanna's line, she also does have the kidney care blend. And again, I'm just going over these few products, even though it's not Hulda's program, because Hulda based so much of her work on Hanna's work, and you can see the similar herbs in the different formulas. We'd use the kidney care blend if we just take in one product to support both kidneys, but we also have a fluid retention issue. So if we have some edema going on, you definitely would want something with the hydrangea root in it that this has in the product. Okay, so first route of detoxification, kidneys, then liver, then lungs. We want to make sure the lungs are working properly. Then the lymphatic system is a route of detoxification. Of course, the intestinal tract. And I'll put a little red line there for number 6, because the body being the most brilliant computer ever designed, this is a Hanna famous quote, so I'll say it slowly. The human body is the most brilliant computer ever designed. There will never be a computer smarter than the human body. Given the proper information or encouragement, the body heals itself. So what we're trying to do in the field of natural healing and energy medicine is to give the body the information it needs to heal itself. Okay, so the human body, I'm gonna say it one more time because I realize that some of you are probably trying to write this down. The human body is the most brilliant computer ever designed. There will never be a computer smarter than the human body. Given the proper information or the proper encouragement, the body heals itself. So that's what we're doing. We're not using a pharmaceutical medicine to put a Band-Aid on the problem. We're giving the information to the body so that the body can heal itself. So the body is brilliant. And all of a sudden, if you start to have rashes, acne, pimples, things coming out in the skin, but you're in the middle of doing a cleanse or a detox or you're sick, we can be mad at the skin, we can put Band-Aids on and cover it up, or we can say that was a route of detoxification. The largest organ in the body is the skin, and the body had to choose the skin to try to detox because it wants to get the toxins, the poisons out of the body. So when the body has chosen the skin as the route of detoxification, we're not mad at it if we break out in rashes or pimples or boils or whatever. We just know we have to go back to the kidneys and support the kidneys. That's why that arrow goes like that. So if you've been doing other cleansing or you've been working on yourself and all of a sudden you've got a breakout somewhere, just go back and support the kidneys. Now, the 4 cleanses. Okay, number one, the kidney cleanse. That's this big box right here. Number two, the Parasite cleanse. In Hanna's line, it's called the Wormwood kit. I believe that Luke sent out in the confirmation email, right, Luke? The 4 cleanses.
Yes.
The 4 cleanses with all the details we're about to talk about, because there's a lot of details, but if you can look in your email, you should have all 4 cleanses with everything that's in there attached to your email. Then this is the 3rd thing, the liver. Now in Hanna's line, they only call it the liver cleanse kit, but it should be renamed as the Liver-Gallbladder Cleanse. And then the 4th one is the bowel cleanse. And I'm going to clear up for you why bowel cleanse comes last in just a few minutes, because most people say, shouldn't that come first? Well, not through Dr. Clark's brilliance. I now show you why. Okay, so why are the cleanses done in this order? Because we're preparing the body to be able to handle the next step. And we don't want to create a Herxheimer effect. Now, a Herxheimer effect is that healing crisis that a lot of health practitioners will say, oh, that's great, you're having just a healing crisis, and it's okay. Well, it might be okay because sometimes you can't avoid it, the person's that sick, but Hanna cautioned us to avoid a healing crisis at all costs. Why? Because it's difficult on the body. That's number one, but number two is because then your client won't be compliant most of the time. Who's going to want to continue working on cleaning their body if they feel horrible first? What we find with Hanna's products, and the reasons I've never strayed from Hanna's products except to pick up something that she didn't have in her line. Hanna is from Europe. The old European herbalists were taught to combine the herbal combinations in such a way that they were using not just the primary property of the herb, but the secondary and tertiary properties of the herbs, so that the blending of the herbs was so gentle that it's very unusual that we will get any kind of a detox or a healing crisis when someone's using Hanna's products. And like I said, I've been using them since 1987, longer than some of you have been alive. Okay. Okay, so the products in the kits. Now, we have people from other countries watching this seminar either live or at the recorded version. And so you can't necessarily get these particular products in your country. Or let's say you work at a health food store or you carry other lines, you can find out what's in here and use your own. Okay, the most important thing that Dr. Hulda Clark stressed was the purity of the products. You just want to make sure you're using really good products. I'm showing the KROGER herb products because these are the products that I have used for so many years and that I love. So the kidney cleanse kit. Now, this kit, I'm not going to, you can see on your screen what's in the kit. I wanted to show it to you because it's impressive. It's the most expensive thing in Hanna's entire line at almost $80, $79.99. Got 8 different items in here, but basically it seems a little overwhelming, but once you actually open it up, take out the detailed instructions, which you have in your email, but it's already in here, you will find that most of the items, the packages of roots, the hydrangea, marshmallow, and gravel roots that you made a tea, you boiled it and made a tea, and you boiled the parsley, which is, you'll have to go to the grocery store or pick it out of your garden. You will take some of each of those and put it in a cup. And then you just have to drink that cup every day. Now that is not hard, that is very easy. And then you'll take the capsules, the uva ursi, the ginger, vitamin B6, and the magnesium oxide. But those other things, the goldenrod tincture, the black cherry concentrate, the vegetable glycerin, the parsley water, and the hydrangea, All of that ends up into your one little cup, and you have the whole day to get this cup in you. It's quite easy. Now, how do you know that somebody needs a kidney cleanse? Okay, because this kidney cleanse is targeting kidney stones, kidney crystals, helping to clean the urinary tract, etc. Well, let me read the screen because you'll be reading it and not listening to me. So let's do that. Hulda Clark went as far as to say that all lower back pain was kidney related. That's quite a statement. In my decades of teaching and working with people, I would say that's almost always the case as far as I can tell. Even sciatica pain is often kidney related because the urinary tract comes up over the hips here. I don't know if you can see my hips. I think you can here. And so I'll tell you a little personal story. I had a urinary tract infection. I didn't know what it was. It was sciatica pain for about 6 months. And this is way back. And I had a dream where Jesus came to me and said, and I had tried everything. I tried yoga. I had tried biogenesis. I had tried biofeedback. I had tried Hanna's work. I'm sure I made lots of improvements to my body, but I still had this stiffness and pain in my hips. And Jesus came to me in a dream and said, you have a urinary tract infection. Drink cranberry juice. So in this case, there are other remedies. And in this case, he told me to go to the health food store and get cranberry juice concentrate, to put a tablespoon in a little bit of water, drink it, and it knocked it out in 1 day. So I guess Jesus knows what he's talking about. But anyway, my point in telling you that story is a lot of times we don't associate the pains in the hips or the pain in the back or whatever, that it might be something as simple as the kidneys are in trouble. So if you see by the red star, it says that Hanna connected these things. Kidneys and ankles. If you have kidneys, kidney pain here, knee pain, or ankle pain, it's often coming from the kidneys. And also eyes. We pretty much know that. I've had a lot of people coming in crutches, or having a cane, or hobbling on their knee. When you check out their body, it's kidneys, and they'll be like, no. But if you support the kidneys, then the knee pain and the ankle pain clears up. It's interesting. I had a gentleman come into my office in Missouri with a walker, and it was a guy that went to church with us, big, tall, very handsome man, very, robust sort of a guy. To see him walk into my office like an old man with a walker, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was in so much pain, and to see him after taking one kidney cleanse come in, no walker, standing up straight, nice stride, and feeling like he had gotten his life back and his youth and vitality. That's what does something good for your heart. And he ended up taking 2 full kidney cleanses. But when the posture starts to become like this, because a person's sort of, hunching over, trying to protect the pain in the back and the hips, the whole posture will start to go forward. And usually the disposition goes with it. People with chronic kidney pain will often become very, very grouchy. Another way that you can tell that the kidneys are in trouble is the dark circles under the eyes. Remember, the kidneys are renal glands. So the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, as I said earlier. So the darker the circles under the eyes, the more the adrenals are also affected. Does that make sense? You can just shake your head because I can't hear you. Okay, so dark circles under the eyes, kidney, adrenal issues, cleanse the kidneys, feed the adrenals. Clear the kidneys, feed the adrenals. Clear the kidneys. So you clear the kidneys with one of the products, or the whole kidney cleanse kit, which to me, this is a lifesaver for people who have any of these chronic issues with the kidneys. And then, feed the adrenals. In Hanna's line, we use anti-fatigue, but What's in that is licorice root and B vitamins, mostly. So the adrenals are fed. There's many different ways to feed the adrenals, but the B vitamins really will feed the adrenal glands, get that battery going. The posters you see behind us, the banners that are blocking the man behind the curtain, for our light therapy is something that we use constantly to help clear the kidneys and feed the adrenals. Whenever my voice gets like this, for a lot of you all, you will appreciate this. The rest of you will think I lost it. But this is Hanna wanting to talk, okay? When I'm teaching and this happens, it's like Hannah's wanting to say something, so we're just gonna let her say it. Okay, let's go on, let's see. So how do you do the kidney cleanse? I'm just gonna, we gave you the step-by-step in the email, so I've already sort of gone over with you. You make the mixture up and then you take the different items. I'm not spending any more time on this because we sent it to you in an email, okay? And anytime you all, I'm very good at texting. I'm not the greatest at emails. Mostly Luke handles my emails for me and he is great, but I'm much better at texting. So feel free to text me or call me, okay? And my phone number is going to be at the end of this. Okay, so number 2 is the Wormwood kit. This is for parasite cleansing, but because of the additional items that are in the cleanse besides wormwood, such as the cloves caps, cloves are very typically good for inflammation, bacteria, etc., not just parasitic issues. And the black walnut tincture, that's not just good for parasite cleansing. It has natural iodine, so it's feeding the thyroid gland, part of the glandular system, so important to us for so many different things. But because of the combination of this, even if you didn't have parasites, you would still be doing a lot for your body. It is very common that we human beings have parasites or some form of pathogen overload, such as a bacterial infection we may not be aware of, or a fungal infection, etc. So a lot of people, they don't know if they have parasites. They just once or twice a year will do a wormwood kit or some sort of a parasite cleanse. Now, the wormwood kit targets mostly the roundworm family. Roundworms are the larger worms, and flatworms, and some single cell parasites. Like, it does help to detox the body from single cell parasites like Giardia or protozoa or amoeba. It does, because it makes an unfriendly environment for these parasites to live. However, if for some reason you think you also have tapeworm, now maybe you went and had a stool test, which a lot of people are doing now, even the doctors now are recognizing that people do get parasites. But if you suspect that you have tapeworm, then you would want to add Hanna's product Rascal. It looks just like this. It's called Rascal. And you would use 2 bottles because it specifically targets tapeworm. Now, I do know plenty of people who feel like they got rid of their tapeworm without adding the Rascal. The big question everybody asks is, will I see the parasites coming out? Usually not. And Hanna explained it that because of the combination of the herbs, it's literally taken the skin off the parasite, and so it's just coming out looking like fecal matter. There have, however, been times where people have chased me around a trade show with a bottle that they fished out of their toilet of different parasites. I don't need to see those, okay? I actually believe you, okay? I don't want to see them, but anyway, I know they exist. So if in doubt, add the Rascal. And like I said before, this kit cleanse targets other pathogens as well. Now, Hulda Clark really cautioned us that if we're going to do a liver gallbladder cleanse, to please do a parasite cleanse first. Because if there are any live parasites, when you're doing a liver gallbladder cleanse, it can make you feel really sick. So you want to make sure they're dead. Well, sometimes a person says, well, I don't have time to stay on the products for 3 weeks because a life cycle of a parasite is 21 days. I don't have time to stay on it that long. I got to get my gallbladder cleaned out or they're going to take my gallbladder out. Well, Dr. Clark says on this program with these 3 items that all parasites are dead in 5 days. So there's been a number of times where I've done 5 days on the kit, stopped it, did the 2 half days of liver gallbladder cleansing, which we're getting to next, and then just picked up where I left off. Why? Because you want to make sure you get through the whole life cycle. How long should you be on a parasite cleanse? A minimum of 21 days, but I like to do the whole month, just to make sure. Okay. And that's also the reason that Hulda wants you to, she thinks everybody should do at least a few days on the kidney cleanse before you would start the next cleanse, okay? Before you would start the wormwood, because to really support those kidneys and not to stress them out. So if you know your kidneys are in good shape, you're really good with your water, you're not drinking a lot of sodas or anything like that, then you could just have a couple of days of kidney cleansing or supporting the kidneys before you were to start the parasite cleanse. Now, I forgot to put this in the program, so I want to go back to the first kit where, how do you know your kidneys need to be supported? We talked about that if kidney stones and kidney crystals are forming. But what forms kidney stones and kidney crystals? I should give you those items. And all of this is in the Hulda's books, but the biggest culprits are chocolate, tea, not a herbal tea, but black tea, like Lipton tea, and phosphates, like soda, and eating meats after 2 o'clock in the day. So if you're one forming kidney stones or kidney crystals and you feel like you have shards of glass in your back or you have lower back pain or issues with the kidneys, then eliminate those 4 things from your diet. You will be surprised how much your pain goes away and how much your body appreciates that. And then what you want to do is just add back 1 item at a time. So let's say you love chocolate and you add the chocolate back and the pain doesn't come back. Well, it's probably not chocolate creating your kidney stress and kidney stones or crystals. But now you add back tea and now you have the pain. Well, then it's pretty easy to stop drinking tea if that's what's causing that terrible pain. So you can figure out what's causing it by doing that, taking it out and adding it back. Now, having said that, I have to chase a little Hanna rabbit, and that's that Hanna was convinced that we should be able to do anything a little bit. Like you should be able to eat some chocolate. You should be able to do some sodas. You should be able to do a little bit of anything. And if you can never go back to doing a particular activity once in a while, like the little chocolate or sodas, it means you'd never really, she used the word cured. You never cured the issue to start with. Now, nowadays we can't use that word cured, because it is a registered trademark of the AMA. And, but we can say Hannah said it, and we can say that's the title of the book. So I like to say, if Jesus, when Jesus comes back, he starts gearing up people, he's gonna be in trouble, all right? Because he doesn't have a medical license, but anyway, that's me being a little sassy. Okay, moving on. So how do I take the Wormwood kit or the Parasite cleanse? Okay. If you just do it by Hannah's kit, by the instructions on the book, on the bottles, it's fine. It's not Dr. Clark's program. Dr. Clark's program uses these items, but she does an accelerated program starting slower and working all the way up to doing 7 capsules 3 times a day for the last 4 days that you're on this. 7 of the wormwood. So that's on the last 4 days, you're doing 21 capsules of wormwood at, a day. I can't say that enough. But she has prepared your body by starting with 1. With the cloves, she's starting 1 capsule twice a day, getting your body used to it, working up. And with the cloves, you never go beyond 3 capsules 3 times a day. But on the little black walnut tincture that's in the bottle, it's 2 ounces in the in this kit here, you're going to end up taking a large dose, like a teaspoon, up to 2 teaspoons on, towards the end. So she's really getting your body prepared. All the more reason that you would want to make sure that you have your kidneys are in good functioning working orders to start with. Okay. So the liver cleanse kit. Now this is my favorite of all the kits. I love to do a liver gallbladder cleanse. Well, I don't really love it until it's over with, but it's an easy cleanse to do. In this kit, now you can see that you probably have all of these items. If you did the first 2 kits, you already have the black walnut tincture item number 2. So Epsom salts, you probably have that in your cabinet. You'd already have some black walnut tincture from your first couple of kits. You probably have some olive oil in your cabinet, but you want to make sure to get the light olive oil. We don't usually suggest light anything because we want the good whole fats. Not in this case. In this case, you want the lightest olive oil you can get, because you're going to be drinking a half a cup of it in this concoction, and we want to get it down because this is what's going to help to get the gallstones out. And then in this bottle, there is in this package, there is a bottle of L-ornithine. L-ornithine is an amino acid, which helps us to break down fat, and it also helps us to sleep. And so that's what's in this. And like I said, some of you all have all these individual items already at your house. So what we're going to do is that the morning, I just want to describe this to you. Well, first of all, what this is targeting is gallstones. And what are gallstones? Let's talk about that. A gallstone is hardened cholesterol, okay, that's surrounding a pathogen. So let's say this little bacteria breaks loose, or a little parasite, and the very brilliant body says, we can handle the invader, and goes and surrounds that invader with cholesterol. But now the problem is we have to figure out what to do with that gallstone. And so it goes and puts it in the gallbladder. At some point, the gallbladder gets full and our body starts to get bigger up here, like basketball stomach, okay? And then the body starts putting those gallstones in the liver, and it shoves them into the ducts of the liver. And so then you develop an allergy or a sensitivity. And Dr. Clark says you want to clean out the gallstones until you get out 2,000 stones, and your allergies and sensitivities should go with that. She also cautions us not to do another cleanse for at least 2 weeks, because it's like surgery on the body. So So you'll love it. It's 2 half days. And most people, if you have weight to lose, you'll lose between 5 and 10 pounds. And a lot of that will be fluid, but you'll lose it right away. And Dr. Clark said this was one of the most important things that we could do for our body. So how do you do a gallbladder cleanse? Basically, you wake up in the morning and you have no fat. And no fat until 2 o'clock in the day. So you can have fruit, you can have your coffee, you just can't have milk in your coffee, etc. And from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you don't eat or drink anything, not even water. And this is building up the pressure in your gallbladder. At 6 o'clock, you're going to have your first mixtures of Epsom salts. At 8 o'clock, you're going to have another 3/4 of a cup of Epsom salt that's nice and cold. Doesn't taste good. It's not terrible. The first batch of Epsom salt killed your appetite, so you're fine. And then at 10 o'clock, right before 10 o'clock, you're going to start preparing your nighttime cocktail of 2 freshly squeezed red or pink grapefruit, the 1/2 cup of olive oil, some 10 drops of black walnut tincture. All of this is written in the handout. Okay, and I said the olive oil, the grapefruit, a little bit of black walnut tincture, and shake it up really well. Make sure you have a straw. I think it's delicious. I actually like the way this tastes. I know people, but you're tired of that Epsom salt and you're a little hungry. So I think it's delicious. You drink it and you go to bed. The timing is very critical. Make sure you have all your chores done. You want to go to bed, lay as flat as you can at 10 o'clock. And around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you get a call from nature and you'll start passing gallstones. Many of them are bright, neon green, but they can be tan, they can be red, they can be other colors. A lot of times there's this gold chafing on the top of the water, the toilet bowl water, and that's as important to get out as to get the gallstones, because that chafing is cholesterol waiting to form gallstones. So then the next morning you're going to get up and you're going to do 2 more rounds of the Epsom salts. I always set my alarm for 6 o'clock so that because you can't do it sooner than 6 o'clock. So I get up, do it at 6 o'clock so I can go back to sleep. And then get up again at 8 o'clock, do it again, and then you can start eating at 10 o'clock. And then, so it was 2 half days, not quite even 2 half days of a cleanse, and it's absolutely fabulous for your body. There are other gallbladder cleanses. In Hannah's book, God Helps Those Who Help Themselves. There's an apple juice gallbladder cleanse. It lasts for 2 days for me, just too much sugar. So that's why I don't do that, but you certainly could. How do you know you need a liver gallbladder cleanse? Starting whenever my face starts to sag here, I know that's gallbladder. Okay, so I know that my developing jowls is an indication of needing to do a cleanse. As we get the basketball belly here, that's the stress in the liver and the gallbladder. Pain in the mid-back, especially to the right side of the spine, about right here. That's usually the gallbladder. Other digestive issues, when we're overweight, especially if we're carrying our weight in the gut. And if we have rage or anger issues, we usually have liver and gallbladder issues. So now the bowel cleanse, and I am going longer than I thought I would, so I apologize up front, folks. We're getting close to finish, but we still have quite a bit to go. So if you need to leave us, this is recorded and you can come back and watch it. The bowel cleanse, what is Dr. Clark targeting with the bowel cleanse? You know, is not the fecal matter. You've done all this prior cleansing. The kidney cleanse, your bowels are going to be moving. The parasite cleanse, your bowels are moving. Liver, gallbladder, your bowels are pretty cleaned out. Now she's going after the intestinal bacteria, and very specifically the Salmonella, Shigella, and E-COLI. So here it is up on the screen. Salmonella, Shigella, and E. coli. Okay, let's talk about Salmonella. So salmonella is always involved, according to Dr. Hulda Clark, in the stomach flu. You ate something, now you're vomiting. The doctor says you have stomach flu. If it's bacterial, it's got salmonella. Maybe the person put their fingers in their mouth. Maybe it wasn't that they ate something. Maybe it was they touched something and put their fingers in the mouth, or you ate or drank something. Usually it will come on within 30 minutes of ingesting that toxin, okay? And the stomach's starting to rumble and be gassy and uncomfortable and whatever. If you can go ahead and get one of these remedies in you right away, usually that'll knock it out and the bacteria won't have time to settle and go other places. There are many good things. Go to the bottom of the list. Hanna's vibropathic salmonella is what my children have all been raised on. The moment they start to get a bellyache, you just squirt that straight into their mouth, maybe even a couple of squirts, and it'll usually knock it out. But if it's already had time to settle in and they're vomiting, we're still going to get it in them any way we can, even sometimes rubbing it on the belly. But the same thing with fennel, whether it's fennel oil, fennel herb. Fennel is a broad spectrum bacterial remedy and very specific to salmonella, the different strains of salmonella. Apple cider vinegar is another broad spectrum. Now, sometimes you'll see that apple cider vinegar will get to certain strains of the salmonella, but maybe the fennel won't, or vice versa. Sometimes you have to use them both. Even black walnut tincture, because it's broad spectrum antibacterial, will help with a salmonella infection. Now, whereas salmonella will come on within 30 minutes, the Shigella or E. coli bacteria, usually you don't notice anything until about 2 hours after you've ingested that or had a meal or something that was contaminated, because that bacteria likes to go into the lower intestinal tract. So the discomfort, the diarrhea, the vomiting, whatever, will start about 2 hours after the meal. Now, turmeric, or some of you pronounce it turmeric, a spice in your cabinet, and it's also in cumin, not cumin, curry. Curry powder has turmeric in it. Sometimes it's the middle of the night, you have infection, you don't have Hanna's herbs or something, you have a spice cabinet, you can go there and you take the curry out, empty out, a capsule of something, fill it up. If you don't have any empty capsules, fill it up with curry or turmeric, and this can help right away. Dr. Clark found that Shigella was involved in all cases of multiple sclerosis. Shigella seems to settle in the spine, makes us very nervous, very irritable. And if all the MS people that I know, all that I've personally met, or almost all of them, are quite irritated. Why? Because Hanna said that we often act like the parasites or pathogens that we're infected with. It makes sense. So the body's trying to tell us something, give us a clue, so we can give it the help it needs to heal itself. Okay, so as a review, the cleanses are done in this order. First, support the kidneys, then do a parasite cleanse, then the liver-gallbladder cleanse, and then the bowel cleanse. And now you know why you do those in that order. Okay, so this is a little personal note from me, okay? What I've noticed in 30 years of teaching in this field is that when people start to read a book like this, Cure for All Diseases, A Cure for All Cancers, and they're reading about worms and parasites and all these diseases and stuff, many of us get empowered with the information, but many more people get the scared out of them. Okay, I didn't say the word. They just become frightened, they become scared, and they start believing in diseases and believing in sickness. That's tricky, because we want to educate ourselves, because we are God's representatives on this earth plane, and we're supposed to learn to help ourselves and turn around and help each other. And so how do you educate people on sickness and disease without focusing on that and therefore calling that to you? So it's a delicate balancing act. And so I don't know how you do it personally, but but I want to encourage you to always remind your family and your clients and your customers, whatever, how brilliant their body is. And to please believe in the power of life to heal itself, and that God wants us to be healthy and well. And don't put your faith in disease. Put your faith in health. That's part of the coaching and the teaching that I think we're called at this time, especially in this time, to spread that word around. It's like, you know, Hanna, sometimes people would accuse Hanna of giving false hope. And hope by its very nature is a virtue. So it can't be false. The fact that we don't get everything we hope for doesn't mean that hope is false. Because like Hanna said, and Hulda agreed, that without hope, you can't do anything. And so please make sure to not frighten people with this work, but use this work to empower people. I don't think it's so important that people know what kind of worm they have. Or even if they have worms, if they come to you for help, say, oh, I just took a webinar, and if we do these 4 cleanses in a row, wow, all kinds of things will, you know, your body feel a lot better. Most people don't need a whole lot of information about what's going on in there. They just want the benefit of feeling well, okay? And unless you're a physician or someone with a medical license, you can't prescribe or diagnose anyway. So stay away from that anyway and just help the person feel better. Now, how do you order products? Well, there's a lot of ways, and not just from us. I did put us first since we're doing this, but many of you all are already buying products from other distributors. Continue to do that. Your local health food store may also, or your local health practitioner, or you may be that one, may carry the products. Go to them, get your products. And also, Hulda Clark's organization has their own version of these. All right, so now I'm going to do some commercials. So thank you for being in the webinar, but I'm going to tell you some of the other things, but I want to be very clear that this is commercial time for us, okay? I'm interested in knowing what other topics that you're interested in us presenting, because I do feel that my mission in life is to carry on the work and information of healing that I've personally been taught or that I've learned. So we already teach light therapy, Hanna Kroeger's work, biogenesis, understanding energy, spiritual health and healing. And I believe that Luke sent out to those of you all who are on a computer, I think you got a little survey that you could just go click things, but not all of you all can see that on your computer. Let us know, shoot us an email or send a text what if you're interested in seeing, you know, more webinars. We do offer paid programs. Light therapy certification, a lot of people signed up for this class have already taken our light therapy certification. We're using the LED light therapy like this. That's in our signs. And we do have a practitioner training here live in Erie, Colorado, right in my neighborhood, September 5 through 7. So if you were interested in doing that training where it prepares you for board certification, so does level 1. You would want to do as much of level 1 before you got to level 2 to take that training. You don't have to have finished it because it's more focused on using the product, but you would at least want to have, you know, gone through as much as you could on the level 1 training. I still use my quantum biofeedback device, the Indigo. Here, some of you all are in this class. A lot of you all I know were my biofeedback students or fellow practitioners. And so I still use my system. We sell them. And you don't know you want them if you're a practitioner. It's an inexpensive system until you see it being used. And so I'm offering to do some little demos for practitioners or people who think they might either want to have a session or invest in a device. And we do have a finance program for people who have businesses for any of our equipment. We work with a company that if you're a business that's been in business for more than 2 years, they will finance, you know, they have a program. And as far as Inlight, the Inlight medical device, which is the easiest, light therapy is the easiest modality I've ever used. 30 years ago, Hanna Kroeger told me in the future, healing would come from color, sound, and light. And this system has color, sound, frequencies, and light therapy. And so we've been using that. My whole family uses light therapy, and we have for about 10 years now. So we teach classes and we sell them, and in some cases rent. We do have other products. We have the KROGER products, the Biogenesis products, Miracle 2. And our newest, latest, greatest addition is the Somaderm in the New You Life products. Because of having owned Southern Herb Company for 10 years, I'm very hard to impress with products. But this particular little transdermal homeopathic HGH, meaning human growth hormone, that's not just good for weight loss and vitality, but restoring our youthfulness. All you do is you squirt on a little dab like that on your wrist every day and just rub it in. So it's not even something that you have to ingest, which is why I love it. I am going to the first national conference ever with this product in the new KetoGen product. That's the only 2 products they have in the line. And I'm going to that in Las Vegas. And I absolutely love this company. If anybody's interested, let us know. Okay. I'll also be speaking at the Mind, Body, Spirit Expo in Raleigh, North Carolina. If any of you all are in that area, August 23rd through 25th, we'll have a booth there. So come by and see us. And let's see, do we have any questions? Any questions? Now you'll have to unmute yourself or enter a question in chat if you have chat ability. Anybody?
Hi, Ginger.
Hi, who's that?
This is Arlene. How are you?
Us?
It's Arlene.
Hey, Arlene. Hey.
How are you doing? You're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for the webinar.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. It's good to hear your voice, and I'm glad to hear you're back in the saddle, so to speak.
Yeah, getting back there. So I'm going to do these cleanses, but I just needed a refresher course. Yeah. So did that do it for you? Did I answer your questions? Yes, you did. Yeah, I remember it all, but it's been years, since I did it. Right. Okay. But it was very helpful. Thank you. All right. You're welcome. All right. Anybody else?
This is small but mighty, and I have a really big question.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you well.
And I've been following you, Ginger, probably since about, I don't know, 2007 from the old SKIO training and biofeedback. So it's been a long time. Yeah. And I love your trainings and what you teach. So thank you so much for doing this, first of all. But I've always been in fear of doing these cleanses, any kind of parasite cleanse in particular, because I have an anaphylactic shock allergy to walnuts.
Okay.
So how do you get around that with the black walnut in these?
You definitely would just not use the black walnut. Now, the wormwood combination has black walnut in it. There are other good parasite cleanses. So you could do the rascal and the and the cloves, okay? But there are other cleanses like, I don't like to recommend something when I haven't tried it myself.
Right.
I know a lot of people have had really good results with the, I think it's called MMS.
Right.
MMS, have you tried that?
No, I have not actually done a parasite cleanse because of the black walnut thing. I just haven't haven't taken it on to figure out how to get around that whole thing.
Yeah, so I would go with the rascal and cloves to start with. Now, I forgot to say this, but in the kids, so children who obviously can't swallow pills can take the vibrational remedy, CINA, C-I-N-A, and all my children did this, okay? And that's for the roundworm family. And Filix, F-I-L-I-X, for the tapeworm family. So in your case, you could still be cleansing with those remedies, but I would also add cloves and rascal to that.
You say the vibrational remedy of those,
Yes.
Where do I get those? How do I get those?
So Hanna's homeopathics are not really homeopathics, they're vibrational. They don't use a no-so, they're not starting with the diseased tissue and reducing it down like constitutional homeopathy does.
Right, okay.
Using the vibrational equal, and the research is, it works the same. Because even in traditional homeopathy, you put that under a microscope, you can't see any of that diseased tissue that they started out with to create that homeopathic remedy.
And could I order those from you?
Yes, you can order them from us, Felix and Cina, and rascal, and then the clove capsules.
Right, okay, thank you very much.
Bottles of
so much. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Question: Are you going to give us the TED Talk?
I am. We have another question from online, and it is Mel.
No, that's the TED Talk.
Robbins is the TED Talk. Mel Robbins, Mindset Reset is one of hers, but I would watch her original YouTube video, the one that's had 15 million hits or more. Watch that one first. And it's something like how to stop, self-sabotaging yourself. Or it has kind of a little bit of a crass title.
How to stop screwing yourself over.
How to stop screwing yourself over. Okay, that's the TED Talk. And then I'll watch everything else this woman has put up. Okay.
Can we ship to Canada?
The question is, can we ship to Canada? We can ship to Canada, but then you're going to pay customs in Canada, and there's no way for us to get around that. But usually, honestly, if I'm shipping to Canada, I'm saying love Aunt Ginger, and I don't know if customs makes that work any better. Health Canada doesn't really love us shipping our products to you Canadians. There used to be a company called Purity Life that was a distributor of KROGER herb products in Canada. I would check out with them first to see if you can get the products through them, or easier still to have a friend at the border carried across for you. But if not, yes, we can give it a shot. And you just know that you're gonna, pay customs, okay? And that Health Canada may say, nope, we don't think so. So same thing in Mexico with, Kofi Priest, it's like the different FDAs, so to speak, in the different countries, they have their rules.
Last question from online. They had a liver transport and cannot eat grapefruit. Should they skip the liver cleanse?
The question is, they had a liver transplant
And cannot eat grapefruit.
and cannot eat grapefruit. Should they
skip the cleanse? Skip the liver cleanse.
So I don't know is the answer. I would ask your physician if you can. You can't eat grapefruit, but you could use some other. You can do it without the grapefruit, but that helps to break down the fat. I'm inclined to say to go to Hanna's book, God Helps Those That Help Themselves, and do her just standard liver cleanse, which is with tomatoes, if you can eat tomatoes. But ask your physician if cleaning the gallbladder and the liver is something that would benefit you since you've had a transplant. And then if so, let me know, and I'll ask some of my physician friends who are also natural, in the natural healing arts, what we could substitute. Like Dr. Norman Shealy, I can just call him up and he answers my call. and ask him like, could we substitute that would still be breaking down the fat, but would not be grapefruit. All right, any other questions? That's it? Okay, well, we did go over time, but only by 17 minutes. So I thank you all for your attention, and share the work with everybody. Hanna said that it was our job to learn to help ourselves in the turnaround and help our fellow man. So that's what we're doing here, and carry the light. See you next time. Take care, everybody.